Hi everyone, welcome to A Stitch in Time. Today is Friday, July 8th, 2022, and this is episode 223. My name is Carol, my Ravelry name is Knits and Pearls, and I live about 100 kilometers or 60 miles east of Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. It has been a good 2.5 weeks since I last recorded. Normally I would wait until the end of the episode to give you a life update, but today I thought I would switch things up a little bit and tell you what's been going on right up front. So after somehow, amazingly, avoiding the plague for the last 2.5 years, both my husband and I tested positive for COVID-19 last weekend, which brought a swift end to our Canada Day long weekend holiday plans. We were up at the cabin when Cameron tested positive Saturday morning, and we decided the best course of action would be to pack everything up and head right home. We didn't want to expose our daughter's family or my mom any more than necessary. We also thought it would be best for Cameron to convalesce at home. At that time, I was feeling a little off, but nothing I could really pinpoint, and I thought I might just be giving in to the power of suggestion. But by the next morning, I was pretty sure I was also sick, and sure enough, tested positive also. Thankfully, Cameron had quite a mild case, and he was able to return to work a couple of days ago. Mine was a little more severe, but not severe by any stretch of the imagination. I would liken it to a bad cold. What's been bothering me the most the past 4 days is a really raw sore throat. I initially blamed it on coughing, but my cough has abated considerably for the past couple of days, and it's still hanging on. So I am just assuming it is just part of the virus and that it will go away in time. I haven't had any sort of fever or anything else that leads me to think it's, strep throat or something like that. So I've just been drinking copious amounts of tea and water and doing numerous salt water gargles and trusting that it will eventually clear up. I never thought I'd say this, but I've almost had too much tea this past week. I'm getting a little tired of it, and that's not like me if you know me. Another thing I've had a lot of is time to knit. I was never so sick that I was too sick to knit, so that's a good sign. So I have lots of things to show you this week. Before I do so though, it's the beginning of the month, and that means that I have some prize winners to announce for the Year of the Stash. The Year of the Stash is a year-long make-along that is taking place in the A Stitch in Time podcast Ravelry group. You are welcome to join in anytime, and I hope that you will. Just take the time to read the first post in all of the relevant threads, and that'll tell you everything you need to know about all the rules and guidelines. Yeah, let's get on with it. I did not want another week to go by without announcing these, and I already can tell that next week is going to be a no episode kind of week. There's just too much going on. Okay, first up for the June Year of the Stash General Chatter thread, I drew from post numbers 1141 to 1558, and random number generator chose post 1502. That belongs to Mystery Sewer, who is Sandy from Ontario, Canada. So congratulations, Sandy. Sandy is a very prolific knitter, and some of her most recent projects have been some gift items for her upcoming grandchild. So congratulations on that also, Sandy. So you have won this project bag that I've made. I don't think I've shown this fabric to you guys, but I stitched this up last week. I just thought it was just beautiful, adorable fabric. Has this bee lining, and then also has a pocket that's from this matching plaid. And then I'm also including this Progress Keeper, and it says, see if you can see it there in the light, it says home is where the yarn is. Maybe there that might show up. So Sandy, please send me a private message on Ravelry with your mailing information, and I'll get this in the mail to you. Now for the May Personal Sock Yarn Club. First up is from the Chatter thread. So I drew from posts 3 to 90, and that's because posts 1 and 2 were mine. And it took me a while to find another post that wasn't mine, but I finally drew post number 5, which belonged to Crafty Mystic, who is Deb from Iowa, USA. Deb has been a long-time member of our community, so congratulations, Deb. You are also going to win a project bag that I've made. Finished this one up. I think I showed this in progress a few weeks ago, so I finished that lot up. So I'm going to send this to you. It has just a plain lining and pocket. But I'm also going to send you a Progress Keeper. It's this cute little multicolored sheep made out of yarn balls. So Deb, also please send me your mailing information. Now, as I was sitting here, it dawned on me that perhaps shipping out those project bags from a freshly infected household is not the best idea. So I am going to wait a week or so, and I will maybe put those outside, let some sunlight get at them, put them inside some plastic, make them nice and sterile, and then send them off to you. Yeah, I know that COVID apparently doesn't cling to surfaces, or that you don't get it off it, but let's not take any chances. The winner of the May Personal Sock Yarn FO thread is not going to have to worry about that, because your prize is going to be $25 US, or up to $25 US of patterns, which are giftable on Ravelry. And so for the May winner, I drew from posts 2 to 27, and random number generator chose post number 24, which is Jasmine Davila 1, who is Jasmine from Chicago, Illinois, USA. So Jasmine, please take a look on Ravelry, send me a private message, let me know which patterns you would like, and I will get those into your inbox as soon as I can. So congratulations to all of the winners, and for all of you who have taken part in the Year of the Stash these past 6 months. Thank you for doing that. It's been a really fun knit along. At least I've enjoyed it, and I hope you have been too. I hear from a lot of you how much you're enjoying either rediscovering new things in your stash or using up things from your stash, and I'm feeling the same way. So speaking of which, I have finished up my socks for the June Personal Sock Yarn Club. And here they are. The yarn I used was from Regia. It's the part of the Arna and Carlos Lofoten design line series. This is color 3880 Rust, and that is a region of Lofoten. So I just did a top-down 64 stitch traditional heel flap and gusset sock with 2x2 rib and my usual rounded toe. And for the heel, I used West Yorkshire Spinner's signature 4-ply in the licorice colorway, and that is color 99. So I'll bring it up a little bit closer so you can see both the yarn and the pattern close up. I love how bright and cheerful this colorway is, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. I use my usual 2mm needle. That's mostly what I knit my fingering weight socks on. And yeah, like I said, 64 stitches. So nothing much more to say about those. That's my only finished project. I actually have one that's finished but isn't blocked, so I'm including it in my works in progress. But first I will show you my July personal sock yarn club socks. So I had opened up my little paper bag and wound up my yarn prior to going up to the cabin, and I put it in this maple leaf bag that I had made because I thought it would be fitting for Canada Day. And the yarn is this nice bright summery colorway. This is from Fiber Nymph Dye Works. It is the Bounce Base. Just looking for my label here. There's her label, and this is the 10th anniversary 10 years of stripes and color bright version of that colorway. So lots of fun colors in there. Here, I'll just, in case you want to read, that's an 80/20 superwash merino nylon base. Hopefully that's showing up. And I couldn't work on these in the car on the way up to the cabin, but I did cast them on Canada Day morning, and then I was able to work on them coming home in the car. And I've done a little bit of work since then, but not too much. So here's how that colorway is knitting up, and that nice and fun and bright. And then I've got both socks at about the same place. I'm knitting them concurrently on 2 separate needles, which is often how I knit my self-striping or self-patterning socks. Also 2mm needle, top down 2x2 rib. That's more or less all I do for my personal sock yarn club socks. It's just easy. And then I'm thinking of doing a coordinating heel, so I went digging. I had a number of different Fiber Nymph Dye Works little minis, and I pulled these 3 out. Pardon me. And I haven't completely decided which one I'm going to use. The yellow doesn't really match, and what I mean by that is there's no yellow in this colorway, but I thought the yellow complemented it well. The orange is quite a good match. It's a little bit more bright than this one. This is got a little, it's a little rustier orange. And then there's this turquoise, which matches quite well, but isn't quite the same. So I'm kind of leaning towards the yellow, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think I had gotten these 3 together in a little mini set one time as part of a sales promotion. So yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards the yellow. I think that'll give a nice pop of color in there at the heel. I think that's all I have to say about that. You know, people talk about this COVID brain fog, and I haven't really had that, but maybe that's the sign. All right. Coming up next, I'm just looking for the bag. Yeah, coming up next is the Miss May Mystery Shawl Knit Along by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. So heads up, I'm going to show you the entire shawl, clues 1 through 5. So if you do not want to be spoiled, skip ahead. Once again, I'll do timestamps so that you don't have to be spoiled. So fair warning, look away, here it comes. All right. So here is my unblocked but finished mystery shawl. And those of you who watched the last couple of episodes are saying, wait, that's not your mystery shawl. Your mystery shawl was in a completely different color palette. And you would be correct. I started working on Clue 3 and I just wasn't feeling it. And so I went stash diving and started all over again with these yarns from Hedgehog Fibers. So this is Hedgehog Fiber sock, and I had initially knit a pair of socks out of this purple, which is Birthday Cake, and out of this orange one, which is Monarch. And then I had picked up these other two skeins that coordinated with these colors with the idea of doing a 4-color shawl with them in the future. And I had even started a Helen Stewart shawl in this year or two ago and didn't like how it was working up, but this time around I was happy with it. In retrospect, as I look at the colors with the purple and the orange and the black, that maybe it's a little bit Halloween-y, but I don't care. I had fun working with these yarns and I think they go together really well. So this color here is called Hawk, and then this color here is called Bramble. And I'm going to bring this up close, put it over my face a little bit so you can see the different colorways, because there's a lot of subtlety to them. Hedgehog Fibers has a lot of speckles and variegation in it. And so you can see how well the yarns really go together with all the different colors in each colorway. They really pick up on the colors in each of their adjoining things. Now I had the least amount of this purple, and I wasn't sure if I was going to have enough to finish it, but I did have enough and then a little bit more. So I had chosen it for color D because it took the least amount. Is that right? Yeah, color D. And then I knew color A was also going to be repeated at the end. That was one piece of information we were given, and so I saved it for the end. I've kind of gone back over it in my head and wondered if I should have used the black for the color A and for the end, but I think it looks better to have those colors kind of broken up by a darker stripe. So now I've shown you the colors, let's show you the patterns a little bit closer. Of course, without being blocked, they don't show up quite as well. Plus my lighting here could be a little better for that. Next time I'll have it blocked and I think you'll be able to see it better. All different lace patterns as you go down the shawl. That one's does stand out quite a bit. That one last little bit of purple, one last section of lace, and then this ribbed border. I see it's curling up. Hopefully that will lie flat once it's all blocked. So yeah, I finished that last night. Our last clue came on Tuesday, and it's a good size. It's not too big, even though it has 4 skeins of yarn. It didn't use a full skein of any of it, so it's more like, I would say, closer to a 2 to 2.5 skein shawl rather than a 4 skein shawl. Anyway, I know it will grow with blocking. I like this kind of shape. I find it easy to wear, kind of like kerchief style. And yeah, happy with how that turned out. So the thing was, the thing is that I still really liked the color palette that I had chosen for my initial Miss May shawl. I just decided I didn't want to use it for the shawl. So I started thinking about doing a striped sweater, and I ended up choosing this pattern by Suvi Simola, which is Simple Stripes. So it is a 5 color striped sweater. Although, of course, you could alter, use however many colors you wanted. And I started with my, so I have to lean down, grab my bag. It's, I'm still keeping those colors in this bag. So I had originally bought these 3 skeins of sweet fiber yarn. This is the Sweet Merino Light. I had bought these together as a set. So this is Smoke, this is Sea Glass, and then this one is Tea Leaves. And so I had started using those for my mystery shawl, and I had swapped in a couple of colors. I had ended up settling on this yarn from Madeline Tosh. It's the Tosh Merino Light in the Jupiter's Moon colorway. So I had those 4 going, and I was quite happy with those. And then I thought maybe for the sweater I would bring back, oh, it's in the other room, I would bring back the original yarn I had tried to put with these 3, which was a variegated one with some what do you call that stuff, like glitter in it, stellina. But when I started incorporating that one, I didn't like how it looked. So while we were up at the cabin, I was thinking about a skein that I had back home. This skein has, as you can see, flecks of green and kind of a rusty red. And I remembered that I had this skein of Tosh Merino Light. It is the Cardinal colorway. And I thought, well, maybe I could tie that one in. And I thought if I put this yellow in between the green and the red, it would really pick up on those colors. So when I got home, I was able to experiment with that and decided that yes, I liked the way that looked. So it meant some unknitting and reknitting, but sometimes that's what I do till I get it right. And so I've been working away on this sweater. It is a top-down raglan. You begin with the ribbing and then work your way down. And here's what I've got done so far. So I have already separated for the body, and now I'm working my way down. So I'll bring that closer too so you can see there's the sea glass. And I love these 2 colors next to each other. I actually have a pair of inversible socks from Fiber Nymph Dye Works that are very similar colors to that. And then you can get a good look at that yellow that has the green and the deep red, rusty red specks. There it is next to the green. And then I put the 3 original colors together. So I think those are going together quite nicely. I had to, I've tried it on a couple times. I had to go back, add some more length to the yoke before I divided for the body, but it seems to be fine now. This on, when I have this on, it sits a little bit weird, but I'm thinking that once it's blocked that it's gonna lie properly. I'm really hoping so. Just, things sometimes just don't lie exactly right before you block them. So I'm hoping that that's just the case in this case. Otherwise, I'll have to devise a way to do something with the neck. But I'm pretty confident it'll block out. The sweater is worked without any waist shaping, but I do planning to add waist shaping to it. I'm always happier with a sweater that's just got a little bit more of a curved silhouette, and that's because my body is pretty straight, so it kind of gives me a bit of a waist, or the illusion thereof. So yeah, so presto changeo. This went from a shawl into a sweater, but I am really happy with I'm happier with the use of those yarns in this project than I was in the shawl, and I like the shawl better with the other yarns than I did with these ones. So it's all a happy ending in the end. And then speaking of sweaters, since we last spoke, I have put a little bit more work into my Knit Me, no, not Knit Me Baby, Yellow Brick Rodeo. That is by Mary Annarella of Lyrical Knits. And I'm making this from Fiber Spates Vivacious 4-ply in the Deep Aqua colorway. And then Flock Fiber Studio Take a Hike sock in the Frozen Dawn colorway. And that's those are both fingering weight yarns. And I think last time I showed it to you, I don't even know if I divided. I think I had divided for the sleeves and body, but I hadn't done much on the body. Both of these sweaters I'm knitting on like I think 60 centimeter or 24-inch circular needles, so you don't get to see the sweater laid out very well, but this is just a really cool slip stitch pattern. Get those zigzags going down the yoke, and then you can see in the background all the little pastel shades of the Frozen Dawn colorway. Again, I plan to add some waist shaping to this. I think part of what's sort of stopped me is I have to stop and do a little math. So once I do that, I'll be able to start again and work on this. So this one I am using helical knitting to blend in 2 skeins of the yarn, and it's working great so far. My only concern is that because I didn't do that with the yoke, there's quite a difference in my size of skeins, so at some point I'm going to run out of one of them. But what I might do in that case is even start from the other end of this one, because it'll still help to break. Let's try that again. It'll still help to break up any pooling. Honestly, I think the 2 skeins are very similar, and I probably didn't even need to do that, except that it does help to break up any pooling there might be. So I'm not regretting that decision at all. This sweater, I don't have the pattern here. I realized it's in the other room. It is meant to be just a short sleeve sweater. The pattern shows it. I think you basically just pick up for your sleeves, maybe add a row or 2 of knitting, and then do some ribbing. If I have enough yarn, I'm going to make the sleeves longer, but I'm not sure if I will, because I have to make the body a little bit longer. So anyway, we'll see. I haven't touched it since I got home from the cabin, and I've been working instead on the mystery shawl and then that other sweater. Yeah, so that is it for all the projects. The only other sort of notable goings on are that we actually had some summer weather. That would have been before Canada Day, so during the week after the last episode, we actually had some temperatures in the mid-30s, which is like 100-ish, around 100 degrees or so, which prompted Cameron and I to go out and look for some air conditioners. So after the huge heat wave last year, which was about a year ago. It was like about a year ago, late June is when we had, no, I guess it was in July when we had the temperatures. No, late June. Anyway, doesn't matter. We had talked about getting central air, and we had a person come in. He had put our furnace in and had him look at it last summer, and he couldn't find a unit at the time. Everything, we've had all these shortages, and we kind of left it and decided we should get back to it. So we actually got him in to do change out our hot water tank, and at that time asked him to look at it again and give us an estimate on air conditioning. through that discussion, we learned that in order to put the air conditioning in, we would have to rip apart a bunch of this area that we had fairly recently renovated in order to feed the tubes and stuff through. And just the more we talked, the more we realized it was probably more hassle and more money than we really wanted to put into things for the few weeks a year that we actually would need air conditioning. And we had explored the idea of portable air conditioners before, but because of the way our windows are set up, we didn't really think that they were going to work. But we revisited that, and we discovered that we should be able to make it work. So we did get one for a smaller unit for our bedroom, and we got that going right away. And so that's we've only used it those few days, although it does have a fan also. So sometimes if we just want to cool our room down a little bit, not completely cool it down with air conditioning, but just make it a bit cooler, the fan helps. I find it kind of noisy for sleeping, but on a really hot night, I'll take that over sweating to death. So it's a pick your poison kind of thing. And then we've got a larger unit that we're going to put in our living room that should hopefully spread out some cooler air throughout the top level of our house. We bought a couple of extra fans that we're going to set up in strategic places to spread that cool air around. Unfortunately, we haven't got that one set up yet. We have to still figure exactly how we're going to be able to mount it, the hose in the window, the outlet, so that it can let the hot air out. So that's probably going to be a project for this weekend because we do have some warmer weather on the way again. So cross fingers that that works out. It should make a really big difference. Last year when we had, now mind you, it was an extraordinary heat wave with unprecedented temperatures that we could not use the upper level of our house at all. But you know, the chances of having weather that extreme again are hopefully minimal, but you know, just for those 35 plus degree days, air conditioning will be a very welcome thing. It's hard to believe it's been a year since we had that crazy heat wave, which was followed up by that terrible wildfire that took out the town of Lytton. We drove up to the cabin on the anniversary of the day that the fire had occurred, and just once again viewing the devastation from it, it just was a very sobering thing to think that they're slowly but surely, just slowly, the town is there's hardly, like, they've leveled everything now, but I don't know how much rebuilding has happened. There's still so many people that are displaced, and the fire has just also just scarred the surrounding landscape. It's very sobering. This year has definitely been cooler and wetter, and I think everyone you talk to is okay with that. Really hoping we don't have another wildfire season like we did last year. All right, my something good, I have two for this week. My first, I think I already touched on it. I'm just very grateful that that having finally contracted the dreaded COVID-19, I'm grateful that we got it at a time when the variants had occurred and become a much more mild strain of the disease, and also just grateful for our vaccines that they also, I believe, help keep us safe. So grateful for that we didn't have serious cases, and hopefully won't have any lingering effects. Something that I had worried about was about a year and a half ago, I had started experiencing some breathing issues after being exposed to an extended period of wildfire smoke. And always in the back of my mind was, what will happen if I get COVID? And I haven't really talked about this much, but over the course of time, those breathing issues have become minimal. None of my breathing tests that I had indicated asthma. I'm no longer on inhalers. So nobody is really telling me or can tell me what was causing it in the first place. I don't think it's coincidental that it occurred after all that wildfire smoke exposure, but nobody's actually saying so, and nobody really can tell me why I was experiencing what I was experiencing. I'm just grateful not to be really experiencing that much at all anymore. I get the odd time, but it's very minimal. My other something good is that tomorrow is the 40th anniversary of having met my husband, and it's the 39th anniversary of having got engaged to him. So we were supposed to be hosting a family gathering celebrating my son's new girlfriend's birthday, which occurs next week. We were going to meet her parents, so it was kind of a significant event, but because of COVID, we all decided it's best to postpone that. It'll probably happen now at the end of the month. So now that we have Saturday free, maybe we'll just make a nice dinner or something and celebrate that here. Not sure, but I'm just celebrating feeling a little more human. That's good enough for me. All right, I hope you're all well, and that if you do get this dreaded virus, that you also fare as well as we have. So take care in the days ahead. I think it's going to be probably a couple of weeks before I speak to you again, or at least a week and a half. I've been, most weeks I'm having at least a day in that week looking after my granddaughter, and then there's just some other things going on. So yeah, I'm hoping not next week, but the week after, that I'll be back to chat with you again. Just flat out, I am super behind in all of the Ravelry threads and YouTube. So if, pardon me, if you have made comments or directed posts my way, I apologize. I haven't even looked at the computer at all this week, but I will do my best to catch up over the next few days. So anyway, take care and enjoy your knitting, and I hope to talk to you again very soon. Bye for now. Thanks for watching.